Okay, I love this map. Kelp and Coal Dust. Look at how beautiful it is in the background. All of this burning, smoky stuff. Fantastic. Good on you. Creative Assembly. With that backdrop, I'm gonna continue my romp through the uncommon Vampire Count's Lords. I've got Von Karstein, Vampire Count's Lord. He's cool. Why? Because he can summon a Vargulf. That's the whole. That's his shtick. I'll show you the skill right here. It's this one here. Transformation of Katon, Sons of Vargulf. 21 Winds of Magic, 45-second recharge time. Takes a little bit, to get it going, but fun when it arrives. So for my build, I've got two Vargulfs here to act in addition to any Vargulfs he could summon, because I'm like, if you're gonna go Vargulf, you might as well go all the way. Plus, I'm like, let's go with the Black Coach, because sweet. And over here, my buddy Obnoxious Potato, coming from New Zealand, and rocking the Vampire Coast. I guess they have a lot of coast in New Zealand, so maybe they have some vampire pirates down there too. Why not? And then on the other side, we have Merlem FTW playing Skaven, and Lori Strawberry, I hope I said those names right, playing the Lizardmen. So nothing too crazy here. I mean, I guess you got some artillery in the predictable location here on the hill. Interestingly, the Skaven player decided to go with Keek Head Taker and a Plague Priest rather than Lord Scroak, which is the more conventional choice. The Lizards did bring a Revivification Crystal. They do have one artillery piece bestowed on to support the Warp Lightning Cannons, and another one over here. And Mundi is going to try and hold down the artillery. So with that said, let's hop right into it. Fun game. I knew my my micro was going to be taxed, but I was gonna do my best to keep it rolling. Luther Harkon taking some initial shots from the Warp Lightning Cannon. Way in the back here, we've got some Scurvy Dogs, so we'll see if they find an interesting spot later on in the map. Vargulf taking some initial shots here from the Skaven Slingers. I sent them into the Skink cohorts just to push them back a little bit. The nice thing about the Vargulfs is they do have regeneration, so I wasn't too worried about the missile play, which I know can be a problem from Skinks. Like these Skaven Slingers, it would take them years to kill a Vargulf, and I can just basically withdraw here. So Black Coach not wasting any time, hopping right into the action. I'm trying to juggle these three units as best as I can. There's a bit of a pocket going on here. So my Lord is going to get into the action, see if he can pop some of his buffs. Kroxigor stepping up in here to the Skeleton Warriors. Meanwhile, these Corpse Guards, they're lingering here in the back line, but they're making their way to the front. Some shots from the Warp Lightning Cannon switching on to the Rotting Prometheans, and also Luther Harkin kind of alternating between the two, maybe trying to keep the micro tough on Obnoxious Potato there. Vargulf gets summoned, and it starts taking fire immediately, but you know what? I'm okay with that. It's a summon. It's there to sort of absorb damage as long as the real Vargulfs are okay. So, I play around with it a little bit, pull them back, make them waste some ammo on him, and the Rat Ogres come in here. They start, smashing on the Skeleton Warriors. So I'm like, okay, they need some help. Black Coach rotating over. Von Karstein Lord's got trophy heads popped on him. So this is the moment where I realized, whoa, something's not right here. Keek is beating on Von Karstein. Von Karstein Lord is not really a duelist Lord like some of these other Lords Vampire Counts have access to, like say the Red Duke. Look at this dodging here by Luther Harkin. This is amazing. Just trying to take as many Warp Lightning bullets out of the fight as possible. Meanwhile, because they're turning around to fight Luther Harkon, look at this nice play. The black spot is basically shooting into the rear of this crew. So very cool move there by Obnoxious Potato. Over here, just staying active. The summoned Vargulf that was taking a lot of damage, I pulled it way to the flank and basically rotated in the two other Vargulfs that were healthy. And then with these Blood Knights are just going to keep cycle charging. The Von Karstein Vamp Lord, he's popping Invocation in the back. His health is very low, but I'm able to peel him out of here. I still have all the zombie summons I need to sort of get us to safety. Keek gets a little bit greedy here, overextends, and these are great. Keek is a great target for my Vargulfs to bang on because he doesn't have the mass, so he's gonna get knocked around like a rag doll. And yeah, you see that? Look at how far he goes flying from the Vargulf. And I can basically knock him away from his front line and his protection, so that's a good spot for me. There are some warp lightning cannon shots coming in on the Vargulf, but this Vargulf are pretty active, rotating around, and they're not going to have an easy time sort of erasing the Vargulfs from the fight. Luther Harkon, he's coming in here, rear charging the Sword of Spears, Death Guard are going to work, Overwatch from the black spot coming in here with the warp lightning cannon's gaze, I guess, turned away. That makes it much easier for Luther Harkon to kind of take his time and cycle around here. The Skaven are lacking sort of mobility to really contest those gunnery mobs and the black spots, so that damage is going to add up over time. Meanwhile, you know, the Skaven, like, they're known for being able to summon lots of cheap infantry, summoning plague mobs, summoning spears, summoning all this, but the Vargulfs they're slippery, they have high mass. If you don't bring a Hell Pit Abomination, if you don't bring enough Rat Ogres, and certainly if you don't bring like Lord Scroll to slow down their speed, then it's going to be really hard to deal with it. So granted, they do have a Plague Priest, so I should put in a little disclaimer there. Every time he casts Bless with Filth, there is a speed reduction, so that does make it a little bit harder to cut the Vargulfs. But the Vargulfs have an 80 speed, so even with the speed reduction, they're still going to be able to get in and out when needed. So Harkin here is just cycle charging. He's managed to scare off the Warp Lightning crew with Terra. Mundy is recognizing there's a lot of pressure here coming up to the front line, so he's starting to skitter and leap his way out of there, just like the Skaven. Rat Ogre is coming in here on the Death Guard. There is some deckhand mobs with pole arms to support, but two Rat Ogres is going to be very problematic for the Death Guard. But with the gunnery mob shooting in at the Death Guard plus Harkonnen support, I think those Rat Ogres are in trouble. Over here, you know, I've still got my corpse carts online. The Vargulf's still cycle charging, trying to get in on this revivification crystal and finally sort of getting there. Keek has taken a lot of damage here from the Vargulf abuse. And the Von Karstein Lord, like, he can come in here, pop his buffs, and then basically just kite out whenever he needs to, like that. So Undead Resurgent, keep everything fighting here, and yeah, Black Coach rocking along. It's up to 104 kills, still at basically full health, and it's just plowing through wave after wave of Storm Vermin, and things are looking good for me over there on that left flank. Meanwhile, you know, Luther Harkin, he's finding the Rat Ogres. Because the Rat Ogres can't fly, Luther Harkin gets the charge bonus in, and because he does cause terror, and Rat Ogres are notorious for low leadership, when you get that charge in, you can break them off the field, especially if they're isolated, right? If there were two units were fighting together, then maybe, but with these zombie pirate deckhand mobs coming up with Harkin, he's in good shape. The Pistolodons are shooting into gunnery mob, which is really not where they want to be shooting. The whole point of the Pistolodon is this ability right here. It's blinded, so it's a debuff for melee attack, melee defense, and accuracy as well, I suppose. But first of all, they weren't shooting at the time that the Pistolodon were shooting in on them, and secondly, they're pretty cheap. Like, the gunnery mob are maybe with handguns about 500-600. Yeah, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. I take it back. The Pistolodon was doing okay there, but I still think you get more value by using the Pistolodon on the Death Guard, because the Death Guard are a higher value target. They cost 1100 versus gunnery mob about 600. Their full leadership will not let you do. So yeah. Fleet Captain, all hands ahoy, he's coming in here. Luther Harkin, he's going swaggling Mazdamundi right now, so Mazdamundi is in trouble. He's trying to get support from these Pistolodons, but with them in melee, they're not shooting. That means all of this missile damage from these gunnery mob is able to shoot in. And Mundy when he's on that toilet seat, does not have a lot of armor. Only 45 armor. So even without too much armor claim, and these do have armor claim, he would drop. So down Mundy goes. Balance bar now turning in our favor. I've managed to break off the Revivification Crystal. Blood Knights are really tattered just from taking a lot of abuse from Warp Lightning Cannons and other things. Keek has realized that things are looking sketchy here. Like, he doesn't have too much longer for this to hold, so he tried to go over here and help out Mazdamundi, but Mazdamundi's dead. So yeah, just more cycle charging. These Vargulf. There's nothing that can really keep them in place, and because they cause terror and they can just keep charging again and again. Like I have a huge mobility advantage here, so the usual Skaven tactics of just like wearing you down with wave after wave of infantry is not effective versus that build. So happy to see that work for me. Luther Harkin is really low here. The Bastillon is the solar engine is coming so close to finishing him off. Only 547 health. Can it get in the last charge here? Oh, with Steez. Pulls out the cannon and just shoots him. So Harkin's down to 233, very low. But the balance bar is really in our favor now. The cycle charging from the Black Coach, the Vargulfs and everything else has just wiped this flank. So now it's really just a question of wiping up the leadership. Can Harkin escape from the battle? Let's see. I'm just fast forwarding now because it's almost done. Skaven Slaves, Swingers. Look at Obnoxious Potato just doing the moves, but no. Eventually, one more shot from the Bastillon takes him out, and that's the ball game, folks. Pyrrhic victory. So, yeah, from my perspective, I thought everything really worked pretty much as planned. The Black Coach was really able to just do whatever he wanted to against this Skaven and Lizardmen build. So very happy with that. The Vargulf and the Knights also performed really well. And my Lord stayed alive, so that's pretty much all I needed him to do. The build is very micro-intensive in the sense that you have to cycle charge everything and always be aware of what's being shot at what time so that you can pull it out. But if you do pull it out, you know, the Vargulfs will regen the health up, and Vampire can heal stuff up too, so not too bad. Obnoxious Potato had fun with Luther Harkon. He's got to be one of the more colorful lords in the Warhammer 2 universe there, so always nice to see him come along there. These gunnery mob were really cool because when the Skaven artillery turned to fire at Potato's Harkin, they really just shot it right in the back. The depth guard, they were able to clear away all the chaff infantry, which was really nice. And the deckhand mob, you know, slowly but surely they pushed up. And when Harkin needed to fight the rat ogres, he did it with the zombie pirate deckhands mob nearby, so they were able to provide support and let him sort of fight the rat ogres with confidence, which was cool. Marlem, you know, props for bringing Creek and keeping it interesting. Everyone says he's not the most competitive lord, and I agree with that. But sometimes it's not always about being competitive. Sometimes it's about about having fun. And as long as you did that, good on you. I think from his perspective, maybe Hell Pit or another unit of rat ogres could have maybe helped to deal with the Vargulf, but it's hard to predict in advance that your opponent's going to bring, like, you know, 2 Vargulfs plus the Black Coach plus the ability to summon 2 more Vargulfs on top of that. So that's 4 Vargulfs plus the Black Coach. And preparing for that, you need probably 4 to 5 units of rat ogres. So that's a tough break. If he did switch some of these Storm Vermin with Sword and Shield to a Storm Vermin with Halberds, that could have been a big turning point as well, or at least helped him to anchor that front line. And Lord Strawberry, good stuff out of him. He had Mundi, I guess, trying to keep the artillery up. He didn't have, like, you know, balled up groups of infantry where he could usually use his big AoE spells like Banishment or Ruination of Cities. In this particular matchup with the build that we brought, I think the Lizardmen would have been better off with Scar Veteran or Krokgar or the source old blood on the Carnosaur, something a little bit bigger and more mobile to give Harkin a little bit of something to think about when he was landing. Um, but the Cruxigars, I never seem to get too much value out of them. Their melee attack is so low that unless you buff them with harmonic convergence or some other like attack speed increase, you tend not to get too much damage out of them. The Bastiodons, I mean, they took down Harkin, so they were okay, but I think just a little bit more mobility would have helped the Lizardmen a lot there. They I think, were unable to really react to the handgunners in the back there, and they were unable to send support to the Skaven, who were getting cycle charged by the Vargulfs and other chariot type of place from the Black Coach. So fun game. Hope to play with you guys again soon, and yeah, keep enjoying your holidays. I'll catch you later. Bye.